Hello, good morning everyone and welcome to Psych Yatra, a podcast by Student Council of School of Vedic Sciences under MIT ADT University. I am your host today, Kiran Rawat, the Networking and Advertising Head. Today we have with us a very special guest who is Dr. Madhvi Godbole ma'am,
Namaste.
our principal and in charge of School of Vedic Sciences, and she has an experience of 16 years in the teaching of Indian knowledge systems, as well as she has published two books, one being Hindu Cultural Studies at Sri Vedant Foundation in Kenya, and second, the Introduction to Indian Mind Sciences, which we had ourselves in our first year's course. Now, she also has presented 21 papers at international, national and state level conferences. So thank you so much ma'am for being here today. We're really
My
honored to
pleasure.
have you
Yeah.
as our head.
So my pleasure is Kiran because this is very nice feeling and proud feeling that our students are conducting interviews and podcasts for the same. Because IKS, Indian Knowledge Systems, is a current trade and it is really a hot cake for the present era. So I'm proud of you that you all students are conducting the series of podcast, in fact, on this particular subject.
Thank you so much ma'am. So let us begin with the base of what our department is. Can you tell us a little bit about what exactly Vedic Sciences is?
Yeah, this is a good question, Kiran, to begin with. Because we know now the term what is Indian knowledge systems, because this is very popular nowadays. But when we come to Vedic sciences and the term Vedic science particularly, actually people mislead or misunderstood the concept because this term itself suggests that if you go to word by word meaning, so basically word meaning suggests us that Vedic sciences, so sciences related with Vedas, and then the question arises that what is Vedas, or how come that sciences are related only with Vedas, and what about we see in the present era when we see physics or when we see chemistry, how we can say that all those pure sciences, applied sciences are reflected in Vedas. So this is kind of a term where people misunderstood the meaning of the term. So let us understand it first. And basically Vedic sciences, what we mean by is, actually this is a translation, literal translation as per the modern era of Vedic sciences, but this we mean by it is Vedic Shastras. So the Shastra tradition of Vedas and Veda are not related only with the Samhitas, what we say Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharva Veda, but Veda is a term basically.
Right.
And we always use this term that means always we remark this as Vedas are just like ocean. So it is basically ocean of knowledge, and Veda, word Veda is basically related with ocean of knowledge. So
Right.
the term itself is derived from Vida, is the root, and Vida, it means to know. So Vedas are directly related with knowledge. So anything that comes under the domain of knowledge, may be material, immaterial, spiritual, anything that is associated with Vedas. And what is the science? Science is basically, when you come again to the Indian tradition, Indian origin, it is basically science means Shastra. And when it comes to Shastra tradition, Shastra is again we have the system that each and every word is derived from some meaningful unit or verb. So in Shastra there is a root Shasa, and Shasa means to govern, to lead it. So it is basically a branch of knowledge which is methodically dealt with.
Right.
So basically when you come to the term Vedic sciences, so you can derive it, the knowledge related with any branch of knowledge which is evolved methodically, which is evolved very scientifically and on the basis of research,
Right.
methodical thinking, methodical thought process. So this term is very much related, associated with the Ved means knowledge, and so it is very much closely associated with the present era.
Right. A lot of times we have seen this misconception among people that they
Correct.
think that if it's Vedic sciences, it's related to religion only.
Correct. So that is the misconception. This is not just the philosophy, but this is basically covering the big domain of knowledge.
Right.
So maybe as in the present era we say pure sciences, maybe the applied sciences, maybe the agricultural sciences, maybe Ayurveda, so medicinal aspects, or it may cover, actually it may cover all the branches like humanities, under the humanities, so language or dance,
Right.
so the performing arts, music, everything it covers, because the knowledge, that particular branch of knowledge is evolved very methodically, very means a big thought process is lying under the development of these branches.
Right.
So this is a big term.
So since we are talking about sciences, one of the sciences that we have studied, like a domain, is psychology. So can you tell us, like, why was psychology actually put under the school of Vedic sciences?
Yeah, this is again a good question. Basically, see, normally psychology is covered under humanities in rest of the universities, but with very different perspective of integrating the Western psychology with Indian psychology or the traditional thought, we have put psychology under the school of Vedic sciences. See, again we need to understand the perspective. Psychology, under the domain of psychology, we are dealing all the individuals, all the surroundings, or we can say our colleagues, even including ourselves, the society itself, we are dealing with the psyche of the people.
Right.
Now, when you are understanding the psyche of an individual, the psyche of an individual evolves with
Within.
not just the within, but the surrounding.
Right.
Correct? So from traditions, from cultures, from what he is learning
Yes.
since his childhood, from the atmosphere he is getting in the society, from different phenomenons. And Indian society has its own culture, own civilizational values, own traditions, own thoughts. Now they are impacting on the individual psyche in their development. And so to understand this particular scenario, we need to go to our roots basically. And we need to understand the roots of our civilization, or roots of our traditions, roots of our culture, roots of our thought processes. And so this helps a lot then to understand, as a psychologist, to understand the patient or the individual
Right.
who is in front of me.
True.
And so with this particular thought to give, and additionally this is our experience that Indian tradition, Indian culture has well thought tradition regarding the psychology. Obviously again we need to understand that psychology and philosophy are not the different domain when you come to Indian tradition.
Right.
But the same was the case when we come to Western tradition.
Right.
After 15th century they got separated.
True.
Means two different branches we can see,
Right.
perceive in the Western tradition. But in Indian tradition again, it is not separated,
Right.
because the whole journey of an individual is not just the material but the internal as well at the same time.
True.
And so it is associated very well connected with the philosophy. And so Indian tradition, Indian philosophy, we have integrated with the Western perspective in the syllabus itself, which helps students to understand
Yes.
that perspective and to have a holistic kind of approach, understanding towards the subject.
Right. Thank you so much, ma'am. Personally, being somebody who has opted up for Indian Mind Sciences as my minor, I would really like to agree with ma'am. We have learned a lot and we have gained a lot of insight into both the Indian psychology as well as the Western psychology and their collaboration. So I would like to ask you, can you actually give us some ancient Indian concept that can actually correlate to what we study in Western psychology?
Okay. So now you learn the theories of personality.
Right.
Yes. So there are different personalities, mapping of personalities. Yes. You learn how to develop psychiatry tests for
Yes.
that. Yes. So now again to connect with it with Indian particular thought or tradition. We learn, you must have remembering that we have learned Triguna concept,
Yes.
Panchakosha concept, and then again we are connecting all the features and characteristics for mapping the personality, theories of
Right.
personality. So such there are different similarities, different perspectives. I cannot say that exactly similar mapping you can have from the Indian perspective and from the Western perspective, because we need to understand that the perspectives are different.
True.
So actually those who have appeared for the examination of intermediate or intermediate in the school, so for the painting and so when you are drawing, suppose I am drawing this particular vase.
Right.
So when I am looking towards the vase, the perspective will be different.
Right.
And when someone else looking from that particular point, from that particular angle towards this vase, the perspective will be different.
Right.
Yeah, but what I have understood through my experience is, Indian perspective gives us a holistic kind of approach,
Right.
not just a perspective. And very nice example which is given always by Shankaracharya ji or Vedanta in the Vedanta philosophy. When one understands Atma Tattva, the self, the own nature, real own nature, one can see the whole world like what we say, Amalaka. Put on the, so a small fruit which is kept on just our hand,
Right.
we can perceive from the whole side, we
Right.
can perceive it properly. We can see there all the perspectives we can see.
Right.
So similarly we can follow it.
Okay.
Similarly we can see it. So basically the Indian perspective is like that.
Right.
So when even in theory of personalities, so we can see different layers that are coming out from this Panchakosha and Triguna perspective.
Right.
But when you go to Western perspective, you can see the developments of perceiving the things.
Right.
They are having different perspective.
Right.
है ना? So basically someone can say that with this you can understand until this, then the next point, then the next point.
Right.
But with this Triguna and Panchakosha you can actually map the whole perspective of the personality.
Right.
So similarly, there are ample different patterns, or we can say that not the same techniques, but we can map the things positively with different methods.
Right.
And such kind of techniques we can see that even in Western perspective, similarly we can have it in Indian perspective.
Right. We also had this thing like recently in the last sem, we did Trigunatmak personality scale under our testing.
Correct.
And we did our interpretations and all of that on the basis of collaborating these two different domains. We did psychometric testing, which is from Western psychology, and we collaborated the Trigunatmak personality into it, and we got a really wonderful understanding of our participant, as well as we were guided all throughout with obviously our faculty here. So moving on with this collaboration, can we actually give out an example of how practices, Indian practices such as meditation, chanting and all of that actually help us also in mental health issues?
Yes. I have conducted one experiment in the classroom, if you remember, regarding the breathing technique. Yes, and actually it works. Yes. So basically, what if you want to elaborate on the experiment? Yes. So see, basically, when we are unknowingly just going with the flow, we cannot understand that what is going on.
Right.
Yes. Then we have conducted experiment that we need to shut our eyes for a while, just close our eyes and just see whatever thoughts are coming, are we recognizing them or not?
Right.
Yes. And then we experimented that just very consciously looking towards our breath, we can see that our thoughts are reduced.
Right.
You know? So such small techniques and experiments are there. We need to understand that these are the techniques. Huh? These are not only the ways or the means, what I want to say that as these are the techniques, they are very authentic, very clear, just like mathematical equations.
Right.
2 plus 2 is equal to 4.
Right.
So similarly, these techniques are, if you follow these techniques properly, you can have a result.
Right.
So how meditation begins with the breathing techniques.
Right.
Yoga is, so this is the pranayama is the basic thing.
Right.
There are ample methods of meditation.
True.
Those techniques are developed in our tradition with the understanding of the need of the society, need of the people, different people, for different perspective.
Right.
So Vipassana technique is there, Raja Yoga technique is there, Hatha
Right.
Yoga technique is there. There are ample techniques. Not only for meditation, but there are techniques like pranayama. We have different pranayamas. And they result into the means desired results basically. So they work like anything. So we can follow these techniques no matter. We can start with just a single minute experiment until then, but we need to follow them under the guidance of Guru for
Right.
sure when we are doing it. Otherwise, different results or undesired results we can see.
Right.
So this is basically a small disclaimer.
Even we did in our last semester, we also did a Kundalini yoga practice where we did our breathing, and we also had gurus at that point of time. They were present, they were looking after us, and it was under our Indian healing practices. So yes, being like having a guru at that point of time is important, as we were also like as students we were also given key disclaimers ki don't do it if you're not ready for it, and you can always have an option of following through under the guidance or opting out if you feel comfortable.
Yes.
So moving on with like the practices that we are saying, we have had a conversation ki whenever we breathe and we focus on breathing and we meditate, our thought processes slow down. So is there any specific tool that we can use for self awareness or developing emotional resilience?
See, that is not just a tool. As I say, this is practice given by Indian tradition. And you need to follow it under the guidance of Guru. Because meditation or Hatha Yoga or following Raja Yoga, they have certain techniques. And for having the desired results, we need to follow all the instructions given by the Guru and under the guidance of Guru, otherwise it will lead to undesirable results. And so Guru is a key point over here.
Right.
So these are not just the tools but the techniques. Yes, there are different tools for mapping different things that can be developed. As I said, or as you know, that Triguna test is there.
Right.
That we can say as a tool. But this is a technique. This is not a tool.
Right.
Okay?
Yes, sir. So, is there anything specific for self awareness?
Yeah, with this particular thing, see, Indian tradition never suggests that this is only the framework for the psychology. As we have discussed that philosophy and psychology are the combined over here, and they are non-separable branches when you come to Indian philosophy, Indian tradition. Now why it is so? Because what is the basic thought of psychology? It is regarding the wellness of an individual.
Right.
Now when you come to Indian tradition and you see that what is the wellness process or thought regarding the wellness in Indian culture or Indian society, you can see that wellness, for the wellness, swastha is the concept.
Right.
And when you come to swastha, it means swastha. Swa means you own in yourself.
Right.
Stha means who resides over there. So who can reside in your own nature, who can be there.
Right.
Yes. So basically when you come to wellness thought in the Indian society, it gives you this understanding that you need to realize your own nature, you need to realize your Atma Tattva. So it means moksha. Liberation. The thought goes until one gets liberated. So when you understand the perspective or the concept of wellness through Indian perspective, it directly goes to the liberation, directly goes with the moksha prapti.
Right.
So it is not just the material aspect but the internal development as well. So I am saying that this is a holistic concept, this is a holistic approach.
Right.
And always we need to understand, as I say always in the class, that Indian tradition never gives you just the detachment kind of feeling.
Right.
और जस्ट द निवृत्ति वैराग्य एंड सन्यासी बन के जाओ कभी कहीं पे तो निकल के जाओ हिमालय में जाओ, ऐसा नहीं है. सो अभ्युदय एंड निश्रेयस, सो मटेरियल फ्लरिशमेंट्स as well as your internal flourishment, both are important for the Indian traditions.
Right.
And so Indian psychology gives this perspective that when you are saying that I want to uplift an individual, how I can uplift him? I can uplift him from both the perspective,
Right.
materialistically and internally.
Right.
So materially also, material flourishments are also important, internal flourishments, internal bliss is also important, equally important for Indian tradition.
Right. So now that we are talking about flourishments and materialistic achievements, would you like to tell us or the viewers about what are the recent studies or researches that are done in our department that you are very proud of?
See, we are developing tools basically. And one PhD tool what we have developed in, that is a mapping of intervention model. So development of the intervention model
Right.
based on Indian aesthetics. So see, psychology is a field where you touch every layer, every perspective of human life.
Right.
And aesthetics is a core concept of human life basically. Otherwise you cannot feel happy, you cannot feel any kind of emotion.
Right.
So aesthetic is a basic concept of human life, and to flourish that experience, one intervention model is developed based on Indian aesthetics.
Right.
For that, always primary sources are used. So as a primary source, Natya Shastra, Abhinav Bharati's commentary.
Right.
So all the primary material is used along with the traditional aspects. Maybe the mandala art, maybe the painting, maybe music, Indian classical music.
Right.
So different aspects, with use of them, we have developed this model.
Right.
Another one model is developing based on Triguna and Panchakosha. So it's near about submission. Thesis is near to the submission. But it is again a good model on parenting.
Oh.
So this is also useful. And so I am again and again highlighting that this kind of integration of Western and Indian perspective, it gives a holistic approach to us.
Right.
Third model which is developing is on IVF.
Oh.
Fourth is developing, we are on the music therapy.
Okay.
So different angles and perspectives with different kind of layers, we are developing these tools and techniques, and work is going on. And many more such things are going on.
It's really good to hear all of these things. I would also like to tell the viewers that even in our third years, our seniors had this opportunity of designing their own researches, and they had mentors from our own faculty as well, and they had really good fun. We also assisted in a few of them, and even we got to know so much about all of this. We were even a part of one of the researches where we practiced Yog Nidra every day, and even that was there.
So don't worry, you will get the opportunity in your third year and fourth year for researching on the same way and many different on many different topics as well.
Yes,
so
I'm really looking forward to that. So talking about all these achievements, what are next steps that our department would like to take? What are the goals that we are setting, and where do you see SVS in maybe next decade?
Actually, there is a plan. I don't want to disclose it online publicly, but I would like to say that I would like to see my school as a mother department who is giving approach of integrating not only in psychology but in the IKS, because our another department is Vedic sciences.
Right.
And so I would like to see my school as a parent institute for IKS in near future, and from where students are learning really very nice, and they are becoming a resource persons for the future. That I would like to see.
We would be really looking forward to that, and I really hope that even I am a part of that. So, talking about like the mainstream academics, are there challenges faced by the Vedic science faculties and the department to be part of that mainstream academia?
Yes. No, not for the being part of, means challenges are related not just being for the part of main academia, but challenges are on different level.
Right.
Basically different levels when I am saying, see, first thing is regarding students. Because many a times we feel that many simple words, many simple concepts, students are unaware about them.
Right.
Because our culture, our traditions are drastically changing, we are grasping impact of Western society, of media, social media, many different impacts are there on young generation, and those are leading them towards not knowing our roots basically. And so simple concepts are also very what I can say, alien concepts to them.
Right.
So that is one challenge, to address them, to orient them with our culture. Then students feel that they cannot write it. We can understand, but how to write in the paper?
Right.
So there we face challenges, that how to evaluate them, because as being a main curriculum part, we need to set some evaluation pattern, we need to set some evaluation system.
Right.
So there we feel some challenges we are facing. Then the third aspect which we feel little bit challenging is about students ask then for the course material. So material, because see, the way we are giving to you, we are integrating it,
Right.
and this integration approach is a little new.
Right.
And so such kind of resource material is not available in the market.
Right.
So that is again the challenge for us. But we are enjoying because enthused students are there in front of us, and so we enjoy a lot. So the challenges are just, I'm thinking like for the betterment of ourselves,
Right.
as well as for students and for the field.
Honestly speaking, ma'am, talking about the education material, we had your book in the first seven. Personally, it helped me a lot. We used to, like as ma'am said, we used to listen in the classes, we used to ask her doubts, and when we used to doubt, how do we write it in the paper? And then when we saw ma'am's written material, it was very much easy for us to translate that, and in a way where it doesn't change the meaning of the Vedic concepts and gives you that proper language that is needed for it to be written and conveyed to the examiner. So thank you for that as well. We would like to wrap it up with one last question.
Yes.
Is what would you like to tell the students who are actually envisioning in the future to go ahead in the field of Vedic sciences or in the field of psychology?
Today I would like to say about psychology itself, because we are dealing with the psychology only today. The whole podcast focused on that. So basically, see, as I'm saying it again and again, I feel like when we are coming to the subject, we need to understand our roots first.
Right.
When the tree we cut off from the roots, tree never sustains for long day
Right.
or 2 or more days or like that. So we need to understand that we should get connected with the roots, and then it will give us a firm base.
Right.
And with this perspective, actually we are introducing Indian mind sciences to our psychology students. See, I will give the example which I quote in the class. See, when we see the Ganpati procession, a big flow of people is there, and then what small kids are doing, they are sitting on the shoulders of their parents.
Right.
So what happens then? They can see, means their vision develops, that grows like anything. So similarly, basically this foundation is ready for us.
Right.
We need to understand that foundation. And once we understand that foundation, we can build a building. How much you want to build a big building, you can build it over the foundation.
Right.
And for that you need to understand that foundation, how it is. So with this particular approach, with this particular feeling that we need to connect with our roots, we need to understand the foundation, you must see towards all these subjects,
Right.
towards the IKS as a whole, basically, towards Indian mind sciences, so that you can do better in your near future.
Right.
Yes. And yeah, as you pointed it out, this was the last question, so I would like to say all the best for your careers, for your future. And as you have done it very nicely, you have understood the roots. As I said, that I am looking you as a future resource person in the field, and all the best.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So thank you for guys for watching. This would be the end of this episode. We have more coming up as we go on. We'll be posting one each every week. So tune in for that. And all I'd like to say that be it Vedic, be it psychology, be it Western sciences, it's all in the end is for humans to develop and prosper in life. And in our School of Vedic Sciences, we talk about our soul, our emotions, our body, and thank you so much for watching.